I believe that the most critical issue facing Montana is the same one that's facing this nation, and it's um, the social climate. Um, where our moral um, temperature gauge is, so to speak. Um, Regardless of what anybody says, you can look at history and you can look at people groups, and where sin abounds, evil abounds, and where righteousness abounds, peace abounds. And a person can argue about, well, everybody needs to set their own moral compass. And that's simply not true. It's impossible. Because if that were true, people who are pedophiles or, I can't even remember some of the other terms, but they could say, you know what? Well, this is okay for me. I believe it's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a pedophile. There's nothing wrong with me beating my wife. That's okay. I believe that's okay for me, that my wife should submit to me and it's okay for me to beat her. That's not right. There has to be a moral standard that is set, that is in place, that we follow, that is outside of our own selfish ideology. And the truth is that the morals that are set forth in the Bible, when people follow them, there is always a higher level of peace, of happiness, of joy. I mean, it's indisputable. All you have to do is look at some of the communities, even here in Montana, the Hutterites. You go look at the crime rate amongst a Hutterite group of people versus people that are living in a state of unrighteousness, and it's going to be astronomically higher. I mean, it's not an issue that's really debatable when you look at the facts and when you look at the figures. A person can talk about their feelings all they want, but what a person feels is not going to determine the course of history. Truth is going to determine the course of history. And the truth is that a nation, a state, without a strong moral compass is gonna suffer, is gonna pay the consequences for immorality. And so I believe that that's another reason why I would make a very good governor, is I believe that I can lead this state back to a place of having a strong moral compass, a strong moral thermometer. And I believe that I can be an example, that I can be an example that people will look at and not see someone who says one thing and does something else. Does that mean that I've totally overcome sin? No. You know what? I still fall short. But my heart is that I want to be like Jesus. And if I sin, does that mean I'm a hypocrite? No, a hypocrite is someone who purposely sins and tries to justify it, tries to excuse it. When I sin, I admit that it's wrong and that I don't want it in my life. I want to overcome it. And one of the saddest things to me is if I should sin and cause somebody else to perceive God as not being who He is because of my sin. And I believe that as Christians, that's one of the things that we really need to do, is we really need to not just walk, or not just talk about who we are, but walk it out. And when we come short, that we don't try and gloss it over or hide it or make excuses, that we make it right with people. And that's why, I apologized earlier, or in another segment, another video, was that you know what? I'm sorry if people as unbelievers have been accused of where we're at, because really it's the fault of God's kids not walking the way He called us to walk, not praying like He called us to pray, not pursuing our relationship with Him the way He called us to pursue our relationship with Him.